In the midst of Holy Week, between the reading of the Passion on Palm Sunday and the reading of the Passion on Good Friday, we're locked up with this image of deep love expressed through behavior that is hard for us to see it as a loving act. So even though Jesus clearly says that there's no love greater than to lay down one's life for one's friends, and we objectively understand that maybe is what is occurring in the Passion of the Lord, it's hard for us to see it as a loving act because we are so engrossed in the pain that we project and that we perhaps rightfully feel on behalf of Jesus. However, in today's gospel, we hear another expression of love that is again hard to see because we're blinded by something. Not perhaps physical pain, but rather by embarrassment or our own human resistance to expressions of love and intimacy. So I kind of lumped this particular passage together with the other gospel passages that speak of a woman, whether or not she's Mary, in the case of Lazarus' sister, or a nameless woman, but is doing something that's a rather intimate act with Jesus, primarily dealing with his feet and her hair. Whether or not she's crying or anointing or just drying the hair or kissing his feet, that's an act that is extremely powerful, and it leaves an impact on the people that are surrounding them, whether or not it is the Pharisees' home at which Jesus is dining, or whether or not it's Lazarus and Martha and the disciples. Everyone around this intimate act is kind of in shock because it is so abnormal, so unusual. And I think deep down they all kind of know that it's an intimate, powerful act, but they just don't know what to make of it. And instead they have tangential arguments. Judas, the one saying, we should be saving this money and using it for the poor. Really? That's the best you can come up with to this amazing act, or this amazing expression of love, is to be concerned about the expense of it? I think it's a challenge for all of us to say, how comfortable are we with our intimacy, our expressions of love? Oftentimes it's the case that we only drop our barriers, our obstacles, when it's absolutely necessary. When you have a loved one that's on their deathbed, then suddenly we're able to express our deepest feelings. Why do we have to wait for people to be checking out before we're able to tell them that we love them? Why is it we have to make sure that we're secure in our own emotions before we can actually express them to someone else? I think Mary, in this gospel passage, is someone that is clearly comfortable enough in her own skin to not care what somebody else thinks. She knows that she may be rebuked. She knows that it might be embarrassing for other people to see. That's not her concern. Her concern is that she wants to make sure that she removes all of her own resistance and obstacles and vanity and ego to be able to be truly present to the Lord whom she loves. Perhaps I struggle with this because I come from a family of origin where we weren't very demonstrative in our love, and perhaps I suffer the same fate of not being able to freely tell people that I love them. And maybe that's a downfall. Maybe I'll overcome it in the course of time. But in reality, I think that we all struggle with this to some degree. If we are struggling with our ability to be open with our emotions to one another, that's really kind of a downfall. Jesus invites us into a deep, intimate love, not only with God the Father, but with one another. Only when we're able to let go of our facades may we truly discover who we are in the light of God's love.